Hey everyone, it's Amy here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Love It or Leave It segment. And today is going to be review and swatches on a brand new limited edition Kat Von D palette that released a couple days ago. This is the brand new limited edition Metal Matte palette, and can you guys see how big this is? This bad boy is huge. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like the size of my head as far as the height. Like, I was not expecting it to be this big. I've told you guys this before. Seeing things on Instagram sometimes can be really deceptive and just hard to tell, like, sizing and all that, but I definitely was not expecting this palette to be this big. I was expecting it to be fairly big because you do get a huge row of colors in here, but I was definitely not expecting it to be this big. This is by far definitely my biggest palette that I own now. It's huge. But Kat Von D tends to go really big or go home like with her holiday palettes. If you guys were familiar with the Mi Vida Loca palette from last holidays, this was a huge palette as well. I mean, it's huge. So surprise, surprise, she did another really big palette. So this did release officially on Sephora's website on Monday. It is limited edition. Let me go ahead and read you guys some information about it, and then we will get to swatches and comparisons because I definitely have quite a few comparisons to do for you guys as well. And it does retail for $60, which does seem really steep at first, but when you compare the breakdown of all the shadows in here, you get 9 of the shimmer, you get 13 of the matte, 21 shades for $60 when you break it down like that, which I'll leave the breakdown in the description box. That's really not that bad on a per eyeshadow basis, and you do get a pretty decent size. These are 1.7 grams in each of these little different pans, so that is a really good size as well. And it says an exclusive ultra limited eyeshadow palette with 13 rich mattes and 9 metal crush shades. The Metal Matte eyeshadow palette is a mashup of bold colors and must-have textures, celebrating the two sides within everyone, whether it's soft and romantic, rock and roll, or both. The palette's top row features an explosive lineup of exclusive, never-before-seen metallic shades in Kat Von D's Max Pigment Metal Crush eyeshadow formula, including Synergy, a best-selling bronze from the original collection. The bottom of the palette is a rainbow array of buttery mattes and a range of tones from dark and moody to pastel neutrals, all in Kat's signature blendable pigmented eyeshadow formula, which we will get to that in a little while. This palette's array of tones and textures gives you endless combinations for a number of eye looks. Get inspired by 3 fearless tutorials, each with a step-by-step instruction. Just like every Kat Von D product, she left her mark with a piece of original artwork. I will say Kat Von D's products are ultra artistic and really, really unique and cool. That's part of the price you're paying, but it's also just, it's a really incredible item. If you're collectors and love that kind of stuff, then you're really gonna like her palettes. They're beautiful and very artistic. So it says the logo on the outside of the palette, this is the cool part, was hand-drawn by Kat as an ambiogram, which means it reads as metal right now. If you guys can tell, it says metal. You flip it upside down, and then it says matte. Isn't that super cool? Like, who would think of to do stuff like that? Like, even Too Faced and Tarte come out with some really artistic and cute stuff. I mean, Kat Von D blows that stuff out of the water when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, that is so cool. I think that's really, really cool. So, anyways, you do get a huge mirror because it is the size of the palette. And then here is what the palette looks like in itself. Like it says in the description box, here are the 9 metallic crush eyeshadows, which are amazing. I love those. And then 13 of the matte, which I'm not so crazy about. So these are the shades you get right here. Let me go ahead and swatch some of them for you guys, because I do really, really love the formula of the metal crushes. Like, look how beautiful and stunning those are. I mean, they're pretty. Now, the only one in here that I think has a little bit of a weird texture and a little bit of a crumblier texture and not as smooth is this silver shade right here, which is called Tinsel, which is the real pure silver shade. That's the only one that I find feels very much like a foiled eyeshadow from Makeup Geek, where it can be very dense and thick and has like a thicker texture than some of the rest of these metal crushes. The rest of them are very, very smooth and silky, and they just glide onto the skin. That one's a little bit more chunky. So let me go ahead and wipe that off and then get to swatching the other Metal Crush. I don't think I'm going to go through and swatch all of the mattes because I'm going to do quite a few comparisons that you'll see a couple swatches. So you'll see all the rest of the matte swatches popping up in a little while. But these next 4, these are my favorite ones in the palette. I think they're amazing. I love them. Oh, partially because they're purples and bronzes, which is like what I gravitate towards. But look how beautiful those are. These are so stunning. I love these shades right here. These are definitely the ones that would be the most wearable for me, just because I do work, you know, in accounting in a public environment, and I work with clients and all that. Like, I'm not going to be wearing these like crazy colors to work all the time. So these ones are definitely the most wearable on this side for me. So then as far as the formula goes, besides the Tinsel shade that I did mention, these are really silky, really smooth. They build up really nicely. They glide on. They work amazing with a flat definer brush. That's the way I like to use them. I totally love the metallic crush eyeshadows, totally approve of those, think those are really, really great. So now, as far as the formula goes on the matte shades, I do have, as you guys already saw, the Holiday palette from the prior year, and then I do have her Shade and Light Eye palette. I love this. I know some people don't like it, but I think it's an incredible palette. Yes, it's all neutrals and contouring shades for the eyes. It's kind of boring, but I feel like it's necessary to have one of these in your collection, and I think it's a really great formula. Now, as far as these go and the formula, they do have a powdery formula. I find that all of Kat Von D's products kind of have an extra powdery formula compared to other competitors. Not that it's got a ton of fallout on the eye, just that it's got a lot of kick up and it's kind of powdery, but it's definitely not chalky. It's the same thing with her contour palette, that banana shade, which I absolutely love. That one is very, very powdery as well. And I find that her eyeshadows are the same, but it doesn't take away from the pigmentation and how opaque and amazing they are. So I love this palette. I think the quality is amazing. And then on the Mi Vida Loca palette, I find that there's only 1 or 2 shades in here, the matte shades, that I don't think are up to par, but the rest of them in this palette are up to par, as they're really, really opaque, they're really pigmented, and super duper easy to blend out. Now, they make the claims in this new palette that that's the same exact formula in here, but for whatever reason, I find that that's not the case. These do feel a little different right off the bat when I first touch them with my finger than the other 2 palettes I just mentioned. I find that they feel a little bit more gritty, a little bit more stiff, and definitely more hard pressed into the pan, so not quite the amount of kick up I normally get with the other 2. So because of that, when I swatch them, I find that they're a little bit patchy and not quite as opaque, and definitely not as even as the other 2 palettes that I'm mentioning. So now let me go ahead and swatch a couple of these just to kind of give you guys a reference compared to the other palettes. Now, don't look at the colors, because obviously for the most part the colors are going to be different. I am going to show you this brown shade right here compared to the brown shade in the palette, but the rest of the shades are obviously going to be different. So this one right here is called Oak, and this is from the new Metal Matte palette. So that is one swatch right there. You guys can kind of see how it's a little patchy. It's opaque about right here, gets patchy. It's not quite as like opaque and saturated and really smooth like I would want. So now comparing it to the brown shade right here, this is the shade Lucius from the Shade and Light Eye palette, just to show you guys a difference. I mean, look at that difference. Can you tell? Obviously the color is a little different. This one's a little lighter, but this one is definitely a lot more smooth, a lot more opaque, a lot more saturated. It's not patchy. Like, it's definitely just not quite as patchy and uneven as this palette over here, the new Metal Matte palette. So let me go ahead and swatch the green one for you. Again, you guys can see how it's not quite as opaque. Like, it's just patchy. Right here it starts off really opaque, then it starts to get pretty bad right here. It's kind of bad at the beginning. Like, it's just not as amazing as I would have liked. So let me compare that to the Mi Vida Loca palette so that you guys know that that formula is the same as the Shade and Light palette. I'm going to compare it to this green shade right here, which is the shade Misfit. And this one is a matte shade, obviously a lot lighter green, but you guys can tell right there, like, look how that one is so pigmented, look how this one's pigmented, and the 2 right here are a little bit uneven and a little bit patchy. And so I find that most of the mattes in this palette, which actually, believe it or not, Oak was probably the best one, even though you can tell the patchiness. That was probably the strongest one in this palette. All of them are kind of like that. They're a little patchy, they're a little bit drier, a little bit stiffer, and I don't find that they're the same amazing formula as the Shade and Light palette and the Mi Vida Loca palette. And overall, if you're a person that doesn't have these palettes already in your collection, you don't have the Mi Vida Loca palette from the prior year, you don't have the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, then I think this might be a like it palette for you. I don't think it's a love it, because obviously I said the matte shades in here are not quite up to par in my opinion, so it's not a love it. I think the Metal Crush eyeshadows are a love it. They're an excellent formula. They're beautiful, they're silky, they're smooth, but the mattes are a like it. So again, if you don't have those 2 palettes, I think you may really like this palette and really enjoy it. It's beautiful packaging. Besides the fact that it's huge, I mean, it's really unique, it's pretty, it's limited edition, you may love it. If you already have the Kat Von D Mi Vida Loca palette or the Shade and Light eye palette and you love that formula of both of those, especially the Shade and Light eye palette, you may not like this, and this may be a leave it for you because you are paying $60 to get a really nice generous size of 13 matte eyeshadows. And so for me, it's kind of a leave it. Like, I don't think the quality is as amazing, and I already have these two palettes right here where the mattes are really good. So if you're like that, already have those in your collection, you love the formula of those mattes, this may be a leave it for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review and swatches of the new Kat Von D Metal Matte Eyeshadow Palette. If you found it helpful and enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay tuned to all my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys very soon.